Hello everybody! For this video we're gonna travel high up north, all the way to Alaska, to visit the most isolated of all John Lautner's designs. It's possibly one of his least known masterpieces, and only a few people have ever visited the building. Its name is the second Harpel House. Why the second? Because there's also another house that was commissioned by the same person. Willis Harpel was a radio DJ in Hollywood when he commissioned his first house in 1956. 10 years later, he got the offer to run a radio station in Alaska, and he asked John Lautner a second time to design his new home. The saddest part of the story is that Willis Harpel never had the chance to enjoy his new property. He was killed in a snowmobile accident shortly after the finalization of the house. I made a previous video about the first Harpel House, which has a totally different look and feel. I will put a link in the description so you can check out that video some other time. For now, let's take a closer look at this hidden treasure deep in Alaska. From street level, the house looks like it has nothing special to offer. Just an average home in a suburban neighborhood. The house is entirely made of wooden logs, like a large wood cabin. Only once you take a closer look, you see a strange structure at the backside of the house. This structure is almost twice as high as the house itself, and it indicates some great design feature, but we don't know what it is. You need to take a look inside to see what this structure is all about. So let's go inside. Once you go through the front door, you see a long corridor that leads to a strong light in the distance. This drawing shows the house from above. Immediately you will notice the large circle and triangle at the left. When we open the roof, you can see the floor plan. A corridor divides the house in the middle. On the right side is a large garage that holds place for 2 cars. Behind the garage is a small corridor that leads towards an office, a toilet, and a small sitting room that is used for watching television. Below the main corridor are 2 bedrooms that share 1 bathroom. Unique about the house are the triangular windows. The very thick wooden walls provide enough isolation during the cold winters in Alaska. The master bedroom has its own walk-in closet. Next to the closet is a bathroom. And of course, a sauna, which is very comfortable during the winters. At the end of the corridor is the great surprise of the house, the circular living room. From the corridor you step right into a large space filled with sunlight. And boy oh boy, what a beautiful room. The floor level of the living room is sunken and you have to descend a few steps. This creates the feeling of a separated space without having any walls. 2 of the wooden pillars that are supporting the roof are decorated with Native American sculptures. These sculptures are fictional and not related to any existing Native American tribe. They are just for decoration, and in combination with the circular flagstone floor, it creates the feeling of a campfire place. Okay. Let's now explain the strange structure that makes the house so distinctive. Its presence has everything to do with sunlight. During the winter months in Alaska, you have only a few hours of daylight. This means that a normal living room would be very dark for most of the day. A possible option is to build a greenhouse style of living room with lots of glass. But this is not really comfy cozy, and it does not have a lot of privacy. So, John Lautner wanted to combine the comfort of a log cabin with the brightness of a greenhouse. But how do you make such an unusual combination? The answer? A clerestory that catches the light from above the roof and brings it into the room below that roof. From the fan-shaped windows, large amounts of sunlight are brought in and transported down through the rear of the living room, where there was no place for windows. Because the light in Alaska is very cold, the wall was originally painted yellow. This yellow color transforms the cold light into a warm atmosphere. Unfortunately, nowadays the wall is painted gray, which makes the room losing its warm light. Besides the clerestory, there is also a circular skylight that brings light underneath the roof. The conical ceiling with its beams towards a light source reminds me personally of a Native American tent. It also resembles a sun with sunbeams. The house is built next to a small lake. At the other side of the lake is a forest. The entire south side of the house consists of glass windows, so you have an unbroken panorama over the beautiful Alaskan nature. The window frames are made of tree trunks from the same kind of trees as you see in the background. The windows between the tree trunks are placed diagonal. This prevents light reflection on the glass and makes the windows completely transparent. It gives the feeling of sitting at the shore of a lake while looking through the trees. With the rock stones under your feet and the large amounts of sunlight, you hardly realize that you have a roof above your head. Behind your back is an internal garden, filled with small trees and plants. This enlarges the feeling of living inside a forest, and the living room becomes almost a landscape of its own. This is what organic architecture is all about. Imitating the nature and giving the feeling that the house has grown like a landscape. It's possibly one of the best examples of organic architecture that John Lautner has ever designed. Because the living room is not placed in the middle, but more towards the right, the left side has space for a dining area. The large kitchen has a hatch towards the living room. And a laundry and storage unit behind it. From the dining area is a door that opens towards the riser, which brings you literally at the shore of the lake. Because the ground level is descending into the lake, the house is supported by poles at the rear end. This creates an open space between the ground level and the floor. This space holds a basement with many storage facilities. The entrance to the basement is a stair in the garage. The basement is not really pretty, and it is a far cry from the beauty in the living room above. The large pillars that support the floor are visible in the space underneath the living room. My opinion about the second Harpel is that a large part of the house is not even that special. However, it contains possibly the most fascinating living room on the North American continent. This room alone makes it a true masterpiece. We end our tour with a view from the lake during sunset. This was your video. Thank you for watching, and until next time.